The stock market currently may not be euphoric, but I don't think it is reasonably priced. Having said that, I have always felt that there is nothing called a bull and bear phase in the market, in the sense that some industries or some sectors go up and some sectors don't go up. So always in the market you will find some sectors which are worth investing and some sectors which are worth selling, right? You will find that combination. So sometimes you may find that metals are going up, and so you may be buying metals. Sometimes you may feel that okay, commodity sugar is too high or steel is too high, and so let me be selling commodities, let me be buying FMCG, or let me be selling FMCG. So there is always this cycle which happens. But please understand, the sector which is doing well, you will be told that the trees just kiss the sky very soon, and therefore the prices are sustainable. There was a time when the valuation of DLF was more than the whole Tata group. Today it is impossible with the listed TCS doing so well, but there was a time when this actually happened, which was very clear to you that that was unsustainable. But we can't see it when we are in the middle of a bubble, right? So today, when you see a Zomato issue at a particular price, at a particular PE, or any other company at Tata Elxsi at a very high PE and a very high number of times to sales quoted in the market, you have no clue to know whether it is overpriced or not, whether you should sell, whether you should keep. It is very difficult for anybody to understand. So what happens is, every bull market will see some shares going absolutely bonkers at some unsustainably high price, and then it will come down and it will hurt. Now if this is a significant portion of your portfolio, it will hurt you. So what you do is you turn to the experts, and the experts, let's say yesterday 2 experts were talking, the Perma bulls of the Indian market. One was Rakesh Jhunjhunwala and one was Ramdev Agarwal, both extremely bullish about what is going to happen in the market. That's how it is, because that is how it always has to be, especially if you are in the asset gathering business and the asset gathering gives you fees. But also understand that you are not Mukesh Ambani, you are not Warren Buffett, you are not Charlie Munger, you are not Ramdev Agarwal, you are not Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. You are yourself. You know how much money you have invested in equities, what is your comfort level, and at what level you will panic, right? So somebody tells you that the trees will kiss the sky, that's fine for you to believe, but you also have to understand that you cannot make very big mistakes. So what are the kind of mistakes that I see people make? Well, when people come in a bull market and they do asset allocation, they want all their money to be in equities, right? They wouldn't mind pledging their father's golden tooth and borrowing against that and put money in equities. That's what they want. Every rupee should be in equity, even if they are business people and they have see, when you're doing business, your business is risk, right? So that money, whatever is worth, is equity, and your portfolio is equity. You don't want to hear debt, say, oh, debt mein kya return milta hai? There is no return that I get in debt. That's fantastic, but that is exactly why you should be doing asset allocation far more sensibly, right? So Ramdev Agarwal or a Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's lifestyle does not change whether the market is at 52,000, at 38,000 or at 102,000, right? It does not matter. It does not change. Their income and their expenses, there is absolutely no connection, right? The ability to have a portfolio which is so big that it does not matter. Beyond a level, it just does not matter. Let us assume for a minute that the income of Rakesh and Ramdev Agarwal could be different, but for a minute, if it is 100, their expenses would be less than 1 or 2 rupees, right? So it does not really change anything. Their dividend income is way ahead of their expenses. There is no connection between their investments and their lifestyle. So nothing changes for them. But for you, if you have 100 rupees to invest and you have put 90 rupees in equity, or you put 80 rupees, it became 90, or you put 70, it has become 90. It is time for you to take some money out and put it in debt, not because the market is going to fall, not because I told you, not because I did it. In fact, I am not doing it. I am not doing an asset allocation now. I am terribly overweight on equity, and I will always be like that, but I don't have a leverage position. Largely what happens for big investors, when they are bullish, they have borrowed money also in the market. For me, that will never happen. I will never have borrowings, and I will never invest borrowed money. I know how to borrow very sensibly, how to invest, but I'm not in that game at all. But these people would do it, typically, like Rakesh says, गाँव का पैसा भी market में है. If he feels the market is going to come down, he will sell off and he will repay the loan. That's fine. That's by him. You have to decide what you want to do with your portfolio. This is a terrible time to be allocating more and more to equity. It's a terrible time. Last week I met a industrialist, a businessman, and he wanted to put much more money into equity than he already had. I had to explain to him that his main business is risk, right? If your main business is, of course he is in some other business, there is no great risk. Even during pandemic he was doing very well. But do you want to take so much risk, and why do you want to take so much risk? So 50-year-old women, 50 plus women, I had them remove some money from their equity portfolio. They were about 80% in equity, and they were not picking the stocks themselves, they were not picking the funds themselves, they needed help. That is not a great symptom of wanting to be in equity. So I forced them to remove some money and put it into LIC pension plan, one pension to start in 5 years and one pension to start in 12 years, saying this is not going to increase your return, but it is going to reduce your risk, right? So in a bull market, everybody tells you, oh, the market will never come down. This is a new kind of a permanent high. The markets will sustain. India is such a big market, blah, blah, blah. The government is doing so much, so many airports, so planes will be flying all over the place, and the airlines will do well, hotels will do well. All that is true, all that is fantastic. But the question is, will you get upset if the portfolio falls? Will it make a major change in your life? Will you have to tell your parents, look, I can't come to visit you because I don't have money. I've lost a lot of money in the market, right? If you are in that category, then you have to rebalance. You have to make sure that your assets and liabilities match your style. Don't get carried away by what you hear on television. There is no crystal ball. We are all staring into a laptop or a phone today while talking. There is no crystal ball for me to say, oh, commodities in the middle of a super cycle. I have no clue, right? And many people don't have a clue. Some of us are brilliant. We know we don't have a clue. Some of us are not so brilliant, and we think that we can come and talk some nonsense and get away with it, right? So that is what is happening. So be careful about your asset allocation. What happens is, in a bull market, everybody thinks all the money should be in equity. They are happy to pledge their house, borrow and buy equity. They are willing to say, oh, but Subra, it is much easier to make money in options. I realize it's better than doing futures also, because I don't have to pay much. I have to pay only 10% or maybe even 5% now, right? So every rupee goes into equity simply because they tell you, oh, this is going to sustainable. Zomato is the next Amazon, right? Everything looks good. That is exactly the time when you should sit, pause, do some meditation and ask yourself, if the market falls and there is blood on my portfolio, will I be able to sustain it? Will it matter? Do I have next 10, 12, 15 years expenses somewhere in debt or debt instruments, or in a job which will make sure that I don't have to worry about my portfolio, or am I already living off my portfolio, right? So you need to answer those questions, and those questions have to be answered only after a 1 hour session on meditation and having a very good investment advisor. Otherwise, it's very difficult to answer these questions. So find out for yourself. Don't get carried away by my videos or what Rakesh Jhunjhunwala says or what Ramdev Agarwal says. please understand, many people today even in YouTube are in asset gathering, or they are in helping people gather assets, which means they are advertising. So somebody will come and tell you, oh, the XYZ mutual fund, this scheme is doing very well. Understand whether there is a vested interest in talking about that scheme on that day because it has got an NFO, or because they want to relaunch it, or it was a closed scheme which has become open-ended. Find out what is happening. Everybody is selling something, right? I am selling books. Everybody has some product to sell something, therefore we are here. We are communicating with you. We are very happy that you are giving us your time. We are telling you it's free. It's not, because there are Google ads on which I make some money, not great amount of money, but some money. Or I hope that people look at my books and buy my books. But let me tell you that also, these books have already been sold. I have been paid. So if number of copies sell more, it does not matter to me, except to my ego and saying, oh, my book sales have crossed 2 lakh copies. That's great. But it does not matter beyond that, right? So understand the bull market, understand the mistakes you can make, be careful, do some meditation, reallocate your assets. Don't get carried away by experts. Their lives are very different from yours. Thank you.